Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Billion Dollar Movie Club. Each and every week, we look at movies that made a whole lot of money and we say, wow, I hope that wouldn't cause any controversy. I hope there weren't debates online about whether a movie's good or not because, they're movies. I am Christian Simpson, and as always, with me is...
Pawan method.
Hello, Pawan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Doing all right? Doing all right?
Yeah.
Would you say you're doing better than if you were the last of your kind? Maybe the final Jedi?
You know what? I'm feeling like as if like there would be at least 3 or 4 other Jedi that exist at the same time as me.
Wow. So there's 3 or 4 Jedi at the same time as you, assuming that you yourself are also a Jedi.
Yes.
How many midichlorians is that?
That's at least 7.
7?
Yeah.
Is it possible that it's over 9,000?
Now you're just mixing up your shit. Like, do you even
What do you mean?
do you know where the over 9,000 meme comes from?
Dragon Ball Z, my favorite Star War. Is the Dragon Ball not just a giant star?
No, it's literally
Are
just
there
a ball
not
that they can
giant
hold.
stars on the ball itself, collectively making multiple stars, and there's fights over these stars, henceforth a Star War?
Sure. Hello, and we are talking about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi this week.
The Last Jedi. Well, did you know that film was released on December 15th, 2017 with a budget? Now, let me remind you, last week we discussed a film called Despicable Me 3. Despicable Me 3 had a budget of $80 million. Star Wars The Last Jedi's budget ranged somewhere between $200 million and $317 million, which is a lot of money. It opened domestically to a total of $220 million, a large sum of money, and basically was second place for every record for opening weekend behind Force Awakens. So a big amount. Would stay number 1 for 3 consecutive weekends until it was defeated by a friend of the podcast. We've seen him multiple times now, Dwayne the Rock. Whoa, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Dwayne the Ross.
Dwayne the Ross is his stunt double. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, along with other friend of the podcast. Oh no, she has not appeared on the podcast yet. I apologize. Karen Gillan, not on the podcast yet. Will be in a couple weeks with them Avengers. Anyways, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle took over from Last Jedi as number 1. Headline from Variety's Dave McNary on December 31st, 2017. Box office. Star Wars The Last Jedi tops $1 billion worldwide.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting the surprise at the word box office. I thought we were, going to talk about, how it earned money and where else would we go for that but the box office. But here we are.
I like that the headline starts with the word box office. It's like a celebration of box office. Rather than starting off with Star Wars, the SEO friendly term that everyone's going to click on, it started off with box office.
I mean, I think box office is a bigger draw at this point. It's everything. It's not just Star Wars.
Well, that is true. That is true. This Star Wars box office, domestically, it grossed $620 million. Worldwide, it grossed $1.332 billion. At the time, it was the 9th highest grossing worldwide and 6th domestically. It's currently number 9 domestic and 14 worldwide. Pawan, this is a feature film.
Yeah.
Of about 2 hours and 20 minutes runtime. Could you please describe what happens within those 2 hours and 20 minutes and so?
Okay. So we open with space battle. And Poe's like, I'm gonna do the thing and defeat the big ship. And then Leia's like, don't do that. That's too rash. But he does it anyway, and everyone's dead. Everyone's dead. And then it's like, Poe, you stupid. and then he gets demoted. And then while that's happening, what's her name?
Ray?
Yes, Ray, that one.
Oh, you remember the dude's name, but not the woman's name. Come on, Pawan.
Ray is trying to give the lightsaber to Luke. Yes. And then Luke's like, fuck all that shit. I want to go milk this animal instead.
As one does.
And then she keeps banging on his door. And then he's like, fine, I guess I'll teach you the Jedi ways and why the Jedi should die. And while that's happening, back at the space battle, they blow up the spaceship that Leia's on, and Leia does a force, and she gets back to safety, and she's incapacitated for most of the movie. While that's happening, the third main person dude thing, Finn.
Yes.
Finn's like, I'm a check out. I did what I need to. I'm gone. But then we have a new character, Rose, who's like, nah, bro, that ain't it, Chief. And they go and try to help Poe do a different plan, because guess what? He got demoted, and now there's a new sheriff in town with purple hair, and she's like, I'm not gonna tell you shit. And then Poe's like, what's wrong with you? Tell me shit. And she's like, no, you stupid. And then
incredible Laura Dern impression right there, by the way.
And then Poe's like, I'm gonna do something anyway. And then he gets Poe gets Rose and Finn to go to a planet to go pick up some dude that's gonna help him do a thing. And then they do the thing, but oh no, it interferes with Laura Dern's plan. It's almost like she could have seen something like this coming, and that's why she didn't tell him about it. But oh well. She does the super cool thing. She blows up the spaceship by ramming into it, but they're still coming after the main people who are on the planet. And then Luke comes in like, give me a hug. And then Kylo's like, I don't want to give you a hug. I want to give you a lightsaber through the chest.
I like that you haven't mentioned Kylo at all until right now. But yes.
And then Kylo's like, wait, there's no guts coming out. Oh no, I got bamboozled. And then the resistance escapes.
Well,
that's the Last Jedi.
Well done, Pawan. You saw this when it came out, right?
Yes.
Do you remember liking it or not liking it when you first saw it?
I loved it, actually.
Yeah.
When I came out of that theater, I was like, damn, I think this is my favorite Star Wars.
I remember the initial reviews came out and they were like, this is the greatest Star Wars ever, right? Or one of the greats. And I was like, I'm excited, but let's hold on. Let's relax there. And so I'm with my friends. We're sitting in the theater, and it's the opening fleeter fight with Poe and everything. And I got the widest smile on my face. I'm like, yes, this is the magic of Star Wars. When it works, it's magical, and I love it. And I am a giant fan of this movie. And I'll be honest, I was apprehensive to return to it because a lot of people hated it. And it's like, well, they must have hated it for a reason. And then I watched it again. I'm like, I don't see those reasons.
Well, I mean, it's very clear why they hated it.
Yeah.
Purple hair lady put down big strong man.
Well, all right. I would like to credit this to Roth Cornett. She is a reviewer and a personality at Screen Junkies. Mm-hmm. And I remember when there were like conversations about Last Jedi every day, she would bring up that she thinks this is a better Rian Johnson film than it is a Star Wars movie. And as I watch this right now, I realize that this film takes the fantasy elements and it challenges it and grounds it in a way that it challenges the as they mentioned, the deification of these characters and the absolute good and the absolute evil of Luke and Vader, et cetera, et cetera. And by showing more complexities, it takes away the fantasy that I think most people come to Star Wars for.
So I don't see it that way, because if anything, it feels like this is actually opening up the franchise to so much more. Because up until now, it was just about this one family.
Oh,
like,
I
you don't
agree.
really get too much of a sense of the galaxy as a whole with these movies.
I agree. I'm just trying to put my mind in the mindset of someone who dislikes this, right? The people who are like, oh, why is Rey's parents no one? Like, because there's 5 billion fucking people on the planet. That's why they're no one. It makes sense. But everyone wanted to be connected to the past. They didn't like Luke being grizzled and unhappy. Luke has that line of, oh, do you think I'm supposed to go down with a laser sword and fight the entire First Order? And people wanted him to, but that makes no sense for a dude who lost an arm and a father fighting the Empire decades ago.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I know that the majority of people who were angry at this movie were the anti-SJW crowd.
Yeah.
So like, I just can't take I know a lot of people with this movie seriously.
I know a lot of people have a problem with the Poe storyline, right? But again, I think that deconstructs kind of like the toxic masculinity of trying to be a hero. He's being a hero for the sake of being a hero, and he's willing to risk it all for a shot of glory. That's an inside joke to a conversation we're in. Pawan's laughter. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's calling out like, hey, you're not a hero just to be a hero. You're a hero to help the greater good. That's Finn's storyline, is that he realizes that, oh, I can't fight. I think Finn is learning that he wants to fight, but he's learning.
Yeah, he's being given a reason to fight.
Yeah, not just for vengeance.
Yeah,
which I think is what, rather than the dark side being pure evil, the dark side is malicious intentions, while the good side is the side of hope, the side of love, where you're fighting to save and protect.
Finn was going through this movie willing to risk it all just for vengeance. But Kelly Marie Tran comes in as Rose, and she's like, nah, I'm gonna risk it all for love because I love you, Finn.
Do you want to go into this text chain that I'm still not certain where this happened? There were like 18 texts, and I opened up the chat. I'm like, what is going on?
So I don't know if this is a wider phrase, but just like the phrase, I would risk it all for like blank person that you just run into. Like that's a joke. That's become a running joke amongst us.
It hasn't. It was one conversation like 2 days ago.
It's a running joke. And if you want to be a part of it, just like send a random picture, be like, I would risk it all. Like you'd risk it all for the opportunity to be with that person. That's what it is.
Pawan, did you recently watch an episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody where they go on a game show where they risk it all?
What is that on deck or
Zack
when they're
Cody,
in a
Zack and
hotel?
Cody, the original incarnation of that franchise.
I don't care about that. I only like when they're on boat. What, you don't like boats?
Wealth of character. You're missing a wide wealth of characters. an incredible crew of employees at the hotel that are a delight. They're a delight. Arwen Harkhauser.
If they were a delightful crew, they would have been on the boat.
They do guest star on the boat because they're so good that they have to be brought back. Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya del Rosa Ramirez. Arwen
He's
Harkhauser.
not on the crew of the boat now, is he?
Mosby is.
Exactly.
On The Last Jedi. Where do you want to handle this conversation? What did you think of let's start with the Rey storyline, because you completely ignored that in your synopsis. I'm like, the most important storyline of this movie, just skip over.
Well, I talked about how he wanted to milk the animal. Sure. I thought that was the most important aspect.
I always was shocked that people complain that episode 7's a retread of episode 4, when episode 8 copies a lot of the beats of episode, or the structure of episode 5. Did that make sense? I said a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Because sure. Episode 5 also has these splitting storylines. Luke's entire storyline is him training with Yoda. And in this one, you have splitting storylines, more storylines that I think a little tougher juggling act that you may or may not enjoy. But Rey's entire storyline is her training with Luke. Like, the basic structure is similar.
I mean, sure, but
the reliance on the color red. There's a lot of red in this movie. I love it. I'm not saying that as a negative, but
I do think the main difference between this and the previous movie is that while the plot beats might be going through similar like moments, the overall story and like what they're saying very much is diverting away, and that's what people didn't like about it.
Sure. I think this movie tries to say more than most Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think, like, what is the theme or message of episode 7? I'm like, oh, wait, what happened in episode 7?
I wonder what the theme and message of episode 9 is going to be.
Oh, Pawan.
Because, I mean, this movie sets up the next movie so well. I wonder what they plan on doing with it. It should be a slam dunk, right?
You haven't seen episode 9, right?
I have not.
Do you know anything that happens in it?
I just know that Finn just screams Rey a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that's his whole character.
On that topic, right? Finn obviously has an emotional connection to Rey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of that as a romantic connection. Am I crazy?
I mean, I never think of any connections as romantic in these movies until they have that final moment where they kiss. So yeah. You're barking up the wrong tree.
It just both of the Finn, Rey, and you're gonna hate this one even more when we get to episode 9. The Rey Kylo relationships. I always,
if anything, I thought that was romantic.
In this one,
I felt like this movie was setting up the enemies aspect, and the next movie is going to set up it's the enemies to lovers story.
Oh, you sure you didn't watch episode 9? I think I never got the sense it was romantic. I think because of movie tropes, seeing the setup, it feels like we're getting something romantic, but that never made sense to me, the Kylo Rey. Or to I
don't know. For me, it was just how she was very bashful when he didn't have his shirt on.
That was, I forgot that scene was there. I'm like, whoa. Okay.
What, you don't remember the buff Kylo meme?
I forgot about it. On that topic, this is the most mature Star Wars. You have shirtless Kylo. Where's my notes? Someone says big ass door. Someone says damn. Someone says bastard.
Luke milks a titty.
This is the most mature Star Wars out there. All right. And this isn't for the babies, the kiddies. All right. This is for real adults.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for adults. That's why when Poe had a conversation with General Hux, he called him General Hugs. I can't believe I didn't talk about that in my synopsis.
I actually really like
General
that.
Hugs.
I like that
I
Poe.
really like the like small moments of stupid childish humor in this movie.
Yes, I think there's part of it is you do expect this big heroic line or something, and then he subverts it by having just be go. I think of Leia, Poe's like, oh, let's follow the animals, and everyone looks to Leia, and Leia's like, why are you looking at me? Just follow him. Yeah, that sounds good. I did want to bring up the Hux Poe interaction early on.
Mhm.
Very reminiscent of episode 7, when I think it's even like the first real conversation is Poe at his knees in front of Kylo, and he's like, okay, how are we doing this? You gonna kill me first? And I love that element of Poe because he's so underutilized in the trilogy as a whole. You think he's dead for half of of episode 7, but it does establish the smugness,
Yeah.
and the confidence and the cocky nature of the man. And Oscar Isaac is just so charismatic and charming that you're gonna follow him along whatever role he does.
Speaking of actors in this thing,
Yes.
there was just like one like 3-second moment where
Oh,
she had just one line, and I was like, "Oh shit, Michaela Cole's in this."
Yeah, shout outs to Mikhail Coel. We're both giant fans of I May Destroy You on currently
Apparently
streaming
for
on
different reasons.
Hold on. There is I was gonna say there's no right way to interpret art, but I just got
There is
reminded
objective
about an hour.
facts.
There is objective facts. If you haven't seen I May Destroy You, it's currently on HBO/HBO Max. Spectacular, powerful miniseries.
Probably not gonna get an Emmy, but deserves it.
Oh, that's a conversation for another day. Pawan. But
It is crazy how like they just get big actors in these like small like moments.
Remember, this film came out 2017.
No, yeah, I
love her. Point. She's not that big today.
She had chewing gum.
That was probably how it's chewing gum, and then I think that she's an episode of Black Mirror. So she had stuff, but she wasn't like big giant name.
All right.
I don't know if it's like, hey, I'm Rian Johnson. I like you. Can you do a cameo in this or whatnot? But it was really cool seeing her pop in for 3 seconds. On a similar note, I always love when Billie Lourd's on screen. Carrie Fisher's daughter, another wonderful actress. Probably mentioned her in episode 7. I love her in Booksmart. Scream Queens. Always a delight to see. I feel like let's return to the Rey storyline.
Porgs.
I love the scene when Chewbacca is a man just trying to eat, just trying to enjoy. He has to replenish himself. He's sitting there at the fire,
and he's just munching on some chicken. But
not yet.
That's not chicken.
Not yet. He's about to. He has it on like a little skewer, I think. And he turns around, and what is there? Like 4 porgs. He scares them away. But no, one more is there, and it's very sad. It's very sad and adorable. I love it.
I'm very surprised I have not bought a porg plushie.
I'm disappointed porgs haven't really like rocketed off. Like porgs should be
they were
Baby Yoda
huge.
level.
They were huge. They were Baby Yoda level when this movie came out. You can't say they were.
Were they?
Yes.
I don't know if they had the staying power though. Which is what I'm. You're gonna be that big when you're the biggest movie of the year.
Well, I also think I don't know if they show up in episode 9, but like that might have something to do with it. Like The Mandalorian has like 3 seasons revolved around this character, doesn't it?
That's fair. I do believe they pop up in episode 9, but like all of episode 9, us as a society said, "Fuck you."
You know, one thing I will say that determines how great a Star Wars movie is, the memes. I haven't seen memes from episode 9.
Have you seen of episode 8?
The sacred texts.
Okay. I don't understand.
Kylo.
Was Buff Kylo not part of 7?
No, it was specifically that moment in this movie where it was like him without the shirt, and they just like accentuated his abs, his pecs.
Memes. Memes.
Like it was that image.
I want to say I've seen some episode 9 memes. But
like there's no high ground.
Sure.
Which
I disagree with your assessment of more memes means better movie.
I mean,
Star
I think
Wars.
specifically for Star Wars, yes. Because for this new trilogy, I've only noticed memes from episode 8.
Come on, we're past the prequels. Are we bringing up this dead horse again?
I'm just saying for the sequels, the only movie I've seen many memes from is episode 8.
There's no episode 7 memes? I feel like if anything, there should be 7 because it's the most popular.
I don't remember episode 7 memes.
Fascinating. Do you have numbers? Are there statistics? Is there research? Or is it all just personal accounts?
I mean, memes are very ethereal. They're there for a second and gone.
What did we learn about the deification of legends? All right. Did you not learn anything?
Let's see, the thing is, memes aren't created by an individual. Once it's out there, it's everyone's. It's a collective idea. That's what makes a meme.
What do you meme?
It's like when we all see buff Kylo, no one has to tell you what that means. You know what it is. When you see the text on the 3 screenshots from Marriage Story, where he says, every day I wake up, he balls up and cries and punches a wall. You don't need more information.
You should. It's an incredible film.
But you don't actually need it for the meme. And that's how these things like work and grow.
As we're on the topic of Kylo Ren, motherfucking Adam Driver. He truly is one of the finest actors we got right now. He's terrific in this one as well.
I really love how this movie really, like the first movie, I feel like episode 7 hints at characters more so than actually fully establishing them.
Sure.
Whereas this one like fully cements characters like Kylo Ren being a whiny baby boy who's like, I want to be a big bad man.
Well, yeah, it's
such a great character.
Is him wanting to prove that he's more than just Han Solo and Leia's son. He's more than just Luke's nephew. He's more than just Snoke's assistant boy. And this need to be something more than that drives him. This need for power and acknowledgement. And he's wonderful in the role and then conflicted. And seeing him connect with Rey brings out the side that we never get from like a Vader. We never get from whoever's the villain of the prequels. I don't even fucking know. And it's a wonderful performance. And I love how he just breaks down at the end. He's like, everyone shoot at Luke. Everyone fucking shoot at Luke. And yeah. And he doesn't have his mask on for the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, like once you see Adam Driver's face, you know that he's like, I don't know if that's his personality as a human being, but like he's very well suited to white people roles where you could just see him and he's like, yo, this is the type of motherfucker that would just punch walls.
I like that you say white people roles. Like, have you pictured Adam Driver in black people roles?
No, I mean
Asian
just like
roles?
just like you know that like white person archetype of like if something slightly doesn't go their way, they start punching walls.
I understand what you're saying, but inside Llewellyn Davis.
What do you mean?
His role in Inside Llewellyn Davis. Outer space.
Well, I'm not saying that's all he plays. I'm saying he's very well fit for that.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. It's not an absolute encompassment of his oeuvre.
Right.
However, you see the patterns arise while looking through his filmography.
Right. Because every day he wakes up, screams, and then punches a wall.
That movie's really fucking good. This movie's really fucking good, and it feels weird that it'll be best remembered for a meme.
But it's so good as a meme too.
I understand.
It's so good.
It can be very funny, but fuck, that scene's devastating. I really love the Kylo Ray scenes in this film. The when it's them looking at each other through the Force,
Mhm.
and it is very I assumedly very simple shot, reverse shot of their close-ups or whatever it is, but the way the eye lines meet up, the way the backgrounds being different hurts my head. As you know, we've seen many a movie where they just do shot reverse and you know, same background, you understand they're in the same space, but the different spaces disoriented me, and which I think was the point of it, and the tension of the scene. There's like
The sexual tension.
well, I was gonna say the air. There's like something in the air that is rising.
Yeah,
in the background.
sex.
Wow. Wow. Is there anything you want to say to Adam Driver in a John Oliver-esque fashion?
Keep punching them walls.
Daisy Ridley is a delight as Rey. I always enjoy her.
I really like that moment where she was like trying to become one with the Force, and then Luke's like, reach out. She puts out her hand, and then he's like, pulls out the fern and just starts messing around with her hand. And it's like, do you feel it?
I feel something. I feel something. And he smacks her hand.
Oh, it's stronger than I imagined.
I love that scene in the way it takes its time and forces her to she has so much spunk in her that she obviously wants to do stuff. She's been waiting on Jakku forever. And I love that the film says, okay, you got talent, but that's not all. You gotta take your time to
You gotta get the pizzazz. You got the spunk, but you need the 1-2 rattle to do.
Did you just watch Chicago and or The Prom? Oh wait, I don't think it's pizzazz. It's something else in The Prom. But Razzle Dazzle is a song in Chicago.
So another aspect we need to talk about.
I thought I had something else to say.
Oh yeah, go on first. Go ahead.
It'll come back to me later. I don't know what I was going to say.
Rose. People hated Rose so much.
I wonder why.
Because she stopped Finn from risking it all. She stopped him from having the heroic moment.
You brought up earlier the fact that this film widens the scope of the franchise to more than just like this one family and its lineage, right?
Right.
And I love that this film starts off with this pilot battle and people die. And you see it hit. You see that there is a weight to the deaths in the way that you don't in like episode 4 when Red Squadron or whatever they're called dies.
Right.
And it affects people. It affects Rose, who is not, Rose isn't a hero at this point. She's just a crewmate working there. And she's just as good as Finn. She knows everything Finn knows. Well,
because Finn was also in that position for the Order.
But I think that just shows that she has as much potential to be a hero as Finn does.
Right.
But Finn cuts her off all the time in the first few scenes. As they're on the same train of thought. But also like she's fighting not to be a hero. She's fighting for her sister. She's fighting for all those people who are.
She's not risking it all for some notion of defeat or like victory or whatever. She's risking it all for the people in her life.
Yeah,
That
she's in
who
it.
you should be risking it all for.
She's in it for the long term, and I think that's a
Ladies,
wonderful moment.
ladies, if your man isn't willing to risk it all for you, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just had to put that out there.
What are you doing? What inspired this thought of the risk it all? Because you brought it up like 8 times in this podcast now. We have to dig into it. What inspired? Did you see a TikTok, a meme?
No, I just remembered one of our good buddies. There was a period of time like a year or two ago where he would just like say that when we were walking down the street like multiple times. And I was like, was that something that he just did? And then another one of our buddies was like, nah, that's a thing. So I guess it was a thing that that first buddy was just really into at that moment.
This was like a year ago?
A year or two ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. I keep forgetting. A year ago was 2020. Nothing happened in 2020. 2 or 3 years ago.
So you brought up this idea of risking it all.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still very confused.
I mean,
we can move on.
Maybe because you don't have someone you'd risk it all for.
Pawan, why do you have to throw that in my face? All right.
You know what? Isn't that the goal for every human being? To find someone
to throw stuff in my face? To throw stuff in my face? It feels like that's everyone's goal.
Well, you know what? One day you'll find someone who's willing to risk it all for you too, Miss Ensign.
I like to shout out director Rian Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen many of his features?
I have Looper on Blu-ray.
I haven't seen Looper. I've only seen
it's fun.
I've seen Knives Out, and then I've seen his 3 episodes of Breaking Bad.
I specifically skipped those.
Those 3 episodes specifically.
Yes.
3 of the most important episodes of Breaking Bad.
I was like, no. I need to go into The Last Jedi blind. I don't want any spoilers.
Spoilers from how he shoots stuff. Just his director trademarks. You don't want to know.
Yeah.
For the unaware, he directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. The episode where Skyler walks into a pool, which is an iconic scene for that show. Ozymandias, which is generally considered the best episode of the show, and Fly, which, for lack of a better term, is pretty much the Last Jedi of Breaking Bad. When some people say it's the best episode.
See, that's why I had to avoid those episodes, because I didn't want the spoilers.
But I do think, and I don't know anything about Looper or his previous movies, Brick, and he has another one I can't think of it off the top of my head. But with Knives Out and Last Jedi, he takes the genre and subverts it and takes it away unexpectedly, right? Knives Out is a murder mystery, but it's not about who committed the murder.
It's about why.
And also it has this, it ends with this underlying idea of the kindness of Marta is what's gonna last at the end of the day. Her kindness and her heart. And I think that's such a powerful theme. That's also in this movie that I remember in the moment thinking, that's kind of dumb. Love is powerful. But as we've seen the world kind of fall in the past few years, I'm like, oh yes, this is a very important thing we should remember.
See, the thing is, I don't want to get into this. It's fine. Let's
I also want to shout out, he has this video on, I think it's Vanity Fair, which is like deconstruction of a scene. And he talks about how in Knives Out, what?
I remembered a different one where he was talking about a scene in this movie where he was talking about the decision to make Rey's parents be nobody, because like, you know what, that's a more interesting story thing. So from there you could go and find out more interesting things about Rey as a character. I chose like I was given like options of what to do, but I was like, no, you know what, this will be the one that actually leads to new possibilities, and like going forward that'll be a nice thing to happen.
Pawan, it led to a Fortnite tie-in. All right, that's the greatest possibility of them all.
But no, that wasn't what Rian Johnson did that led to that. That was what J.J. Abrams did a whole 2 movies ago.
2 movies. Anyways,
Well, from 9, it would be.
are you skipping Solo? 8 to
I
9?
mean, no, because
Oh, you're
from
saying
9,
JJ made a
8,
choice
7.
in 7. Yeah, but I also don't think JJ made a choice in 7. Anyways,
Well, no, he
as
set
I
up
was saying,
mystery boxes.
as I was saying, uh, he talks about how he likes to make sure there's a depth to what is on screen in the frame, and there's different layers of activity going on. And I noticed that whether it's Rose's sister looking down the bombs, and it's this what there's this wonderful close up as she's about to die, where it's her face on the left side, and then on the right side you see the bombs going down, landing on, crashing on the First Order ship. Or I think of during the Phasma Finn fight, which is more badass than I remember it being. In the background, see BB-8 still fighting on the AT-AT or whatever.
You know, that's another thing. People talk about this movie as if there wasn't cool moments.
This movie has my favorite
Like,
Star
what
Wars
the hell
moments
are
of
you
all
talking
time.
about? Like the way purple hair lady Holdo was her name, right?
Holdo, yes. We haven't
The
even
way
touched
she
Holdo
just
yet.
straight up like light sped through the order. I
That
mean,
is
come on.
my other strong memory of watching this movie in theaters is that scene happening and this collective just kind of everyone holding their breath. Just like
Like the
what
way
the
just like
fuck?
there was no sound for that moment, and you literally saw the crack in that shit.
It's such a
Priceless.
gorgeous scene as well. I love. Do you remember when before one of the New Year's, Twitter was like, "Oh, if you start this thing at this moment, you'll hit the midnight at this incredible moment."
Yeah.
It'd be like if you start Last Jedi at this time, you'll hit midnight as Holdor crashes through. And I love the way the sound cutouts. He uses that a lot in this one, kind of letting the sound cut out, and then maybe there's some score, because I think of Finn going toward the laser at the end, and it's just John Williams' score.
Right.
I think of there was one in the earlier fight with Rose's sister. There's another one I can't think of at the top of my head right now, but that Hodor scene, fucking incredible. I forgot it happens almost simultaneously with the throne room fight.
The throne room fight is also so lit. Like, how can you not?
Oh, I was talking to some friends a while ago, and they somehow we brought up, and they're like, "Oh, the throne room scene is terribly choreographed and edited," and I was not ready.
Okay,
to
at that
talk about
point,
this
there's
shit.
so many people who are like, "Yo, they wasted Snoke." It's like, what are you talking about?
Who fucking cares about the people in charge who's been leading forever? That's the point of this movie. Let go of the past. But the throne, I thought of the Civil War battle at the end, which I held in high regard. But you dismissed a little bit more because it's so many fast cuts that it's a little disorienting and you can't really get a hold of it.
I didn't really get that many fast cuts out of this one.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. That's
Yeah.
what the scene is different.
And the other thing I really love is that there's so many different types of weapons.
Yes. It's not just 2 laser swords.
Yeah.
And with the weird spear whip, do we call it a spear whip? there is more chance for creative combat.
Yeah.
The creatives of the choreography is more than just, hey, who can swing their sword the best?
Which I'm also surprised that, like, I don't think we ever got toys of any of those other types of
Pawan, it's Star Wars. Everyone has toys.
No, but like, did we get of those other weapons?
I don't know. I don't look at toys. I feel like they must.
I don't,
Hold
I
on.
don't
There's
think they
probably a toy of not the
because
room.
they were too
just-
focused on porgs, man.
Hold on. Snoke's throne probably has a toy. Something I love of that scene. Um, there was just this animated short released on Disney Plus recently called Us Again. It was
Wait, they made a sequel to Jordan Peele's movie on Disney Plus?
Well, I know you think it's a sequel to 21st Greatest Film Ever in the $1 Billion Movie Club. Jordan
Tied
Peele's
for
Us,
21st.
tied with Andrew Stanton's Finding Dory, tied with uh uh Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, and tied with Ron Howard's Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. However, it is not a sequel to Jordan Peele's Us. It was the short that was theatrically released at the Rian and the Last Dragon, and it's this delightful short about this older couple who they go in like this magic rain where they feel young again and they dance throughout it. And I was reading this piece of the director saying he was inspired by La La Land, where the camera itself feels like a third dance partner and the way it moves through the choreography.
Mhm.
I got that sense in this scene, the throne room fight, because it's not cutting away to find the coolest place to show. It is sweeping through to give this whole picture of the entire room. You see Kylo fighting some soldiers, and then it turns and you see Rey fighting. And sometimes they're working together, they're tossing swords to each other, etc. And it is wonderful.
Another thing is I like how they didn't do the gimmick of like taking off the helmet of all those red soldiers.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, now you know they mean business.
Yeah.
But they were still heavily competent in the fight.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean they're probably as competent as a stormtrooper should be?
Well, no, they weren't just stormtroopers. They were the Imperial Guard at that.
I'm saying the fact that they're these. The stormtroopers are kind of the first ones, but it becomes such a trope nowadays that the heroes fight these nameless, faceless enemies, and it's just boom, 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 dead, dead, dead. But this one there is some danger. They are outnumbered, and they are getting sliced and cut and struggling, and that tension helps the scene pay off when Rey tosses the lightsaber, Kylo catches it, presses a fucking button, and you hear vroom.
I mean, that's what started and what ended the fight.
Yeah. I will say, shouts to them for like they don't reuse the stuff they do with the Kylo's lightsaber in 7.
With like the two ends.
Yeah, the two, like it's basically not used in this one, which I think is just.
I don't think they use his lightsaber much. Yeah.
It's used in that battle with Rey in the throne room. And so I appreciate that, you know, we're not going back to the well to redo this. And then you were talking about how they don't remove the helmets of the soldiers, but you do have that moment of when Phasma's like eye is shot out and you see her eye. And I do like that you have that moment of making her human.
Right.
Again, she's not just absolute evil. There's someone underneath it. And I'm sure that was set up to be like, here's 5 comic books and a spin-off TV show where what is this voice I'm doing? Wow. I assume this is what Bob Iger. No, what is his name? Bob
Iger.
Bob Iger sounds like this. That's the head CEO of Disney.
See, the thing is, this is why I hate the Star Wars fan base. You ready for this?
Why? Ooh, hold on. Let me get ready for this hot takes. I'm going to grab my water in case I have to put out the fire. Go on.
No story, only lore. That's the Star Wars fan base. That's why they hated this movie. Because this movie was like, you know what, that lore existed, but like it's not that you could learn from its mistakes along with its like strongs. And then it's like you can move past it.
It reminds me of I saw this tweet as WandaVision ended, and someone was like, "Oh, you're mad that the show didn't go exactly the way you wanted to, and we're predicting. So, do you care more about the story or just being right about what you think's gonna happen?" And I think that happened a lot with this one in that people wanted the lore to be expanded, as you say. And then it was like, no, Rey's just there. Rey's a person.
Like there were so many people okay. I saw the Jenny Nicholson video on this movie because of course I did.
Whoa. I gotta rewatch that. I think I saw it back when it came out.
And then she was talking about how people were upset at that final shot focusing on the kid who had like a bit of the force in it. And then they were like, what, we're gonna get a story about this little kid now? It's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, we got a story about a little kid and it fucking sucked, episode 1. You were laughing and then
Agree
laughing
to disagree.
I love the little kids at the end.
But like, no, people were upset. It's like, what? Now the story's gonna follow these little twerps around as they do.
Yeah, why not? Who fucking cares?
But like, they're
gonna be
sometimes cool things are just a theme. Like, just let things exist to like show that the story is going onward. Not everything that's on screen has to be the biggest element of the universe.
Yes. Because the most personal stories are the ones that are weirdly the ones we relate to the most.
Like sometimes a man punching a wall, curling up into a ball, and screaming is a lot more emotionally affecting than, blowing up 7 planets.
You know what's really funny about that scene from Marriage Story?
What?
I'm 90% certain that either Adam Driver or Scarlett Johansson's character is drinking apple juice in that scene, from like one of the boxes. I just find that funny.
Did you ever see the version of that scene where they superimpose Adam Driver's face onto Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yes, I thought you were gonna say it. Yes. Now, I just want to see the entire movie with Thomas the Tank Engine. Fuck, Marriage Story is so good. Also starring Laura Dern. We haven't even touched Hodor yet.
She's just the woman with the purple hair who's poo-pooing all over Poe.
I think we can go 2 ways. Do we want to continue to? I have some stuff to say about the children at the end, or do we want to go on Hodor and just save the end for the end of the discussion?
We could save the end for the end, the end.
The post-credit scene. Hey, the part of that discussion, we're gonna cut it out, and it'll be the post-credit scene. Hodor. Hold the door. When I say it, I'm tempted to say Hodor. I'm like, I don't think that's right at all. That's the wrong franchise. Laura Dern's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So another thing with this is, so I saw the Nostalgia Critic video on this movie.
Okay.
You want to know what his criticism of her character was?
What is it?
He was like, why couldn't she just take Poe aside, explain the plan to him so that they would be on the same page and nothing would go wrong?
Why can't, Poe not feel the need to be a hero?
But like also,
and understand everyone has their role.
He's literally proved himself to like ruin plans.
Why? I forgot there's the moment when Hodor is first introduced, and Finnegan goes, "Oh, that's Admiral Hodor. That's not what I was expecting." And it's like, oh, I get it. Poe is expecting a dude, and is shocked it's a woman.
Yeah, and this is the SJWs coming for our Star War.
You mean all the people who think that they are Poe Dameron?
Like, yo. Where's a main character whose midriff clothing is cut off?
I fucking hate that scene.
Main woman character specifically. You know what? They gave too much to the SJWs. We saw shirtless Kylo Ren wear shirtless Rey in kind. Okay.
I hate that moment in episode 2. I assumed you were referencing that or not.
Yeah.
Oh, shouts. It happens to be Natalie Portman's birthday as we record this. Friend of the franchise. Oh, she's a friend of the podcast. She was in episode 1.
Yeah.
Um, I hate that around episode 2, she was doing an interview and someone asked her about the costume with her midriff. She's like, haha, yeah, I guess because I'm over 18, I could show my stomach now. I'm like, no, society. No, that's not how we should treat it. How do we hear? Oh, hold on. Yeah. Laura Dern's awesome. I thought she was in more of this movie than she is, but this was like
Yeah,
this.
see, the thing is, a lot of the things that I've heard people complain about in terms of things being too long, it's literally there for like 2 minutes. Like a lot of people are like, yo, they spend so much time at Canto Bight. It takes up so much of the movie.
It's so short.
It's literally
It's
like
so brisk.
5 or 7 minutes of the total runtime.
Yeah. One.
Like it's like they literally get there, explain the theming of the location, and leave. I guess that's why they didn't like it. They didn't like that Star Wars was going into capitalism bad.
I was really shocked how briskly that scene moved. Because
if anything, I think it should have been longer. Because man, was it very truncated.
And there's so much you can explore there.
Yeah.
Right. But I understand plot wise, like they don't have a lot of time. They gotta rush through it and anything. They gotta get shit done. And maybe we would have returned to it if, we actually used stuff in episode 8 and episode 9. I do really want to shout out the Maza. No, what's the place?
Canto Bight.
Canto Bight scene. First off, as always, I don't think we mentioned yet, John Boyega and Callie Mary Tran are great in this movie.
Yeah. I hope she gets a lot to do in the next one.
Oh, yeah. Hope there's not a bullshit reason for why she's not in the next one. The scene starts and it's the establishing shot of you going to it's like taking you through the casino. I really fucking loved that. It reminded me of the cantina scenes and whatever the Maz Kanata's cantina is called in 7. I don't even know what they call it. Because there is that seediness element to it that you feel.
But you feel that prestige.
By, the prestige, by Christopher Nolan, by the glitz and the glamour.
And the pizzazz and the razzle dazzle.
Come on, stop quoting Nicole Kidman from The Prom.
See, this is the problem. This is why Rey wasn't ready yet. Instead of going to visit Luke, she should have gone to Canto Bight. She would have gotten what she needed.
The pizzazz and the razzle dazzle.
She had the spunk. She didn't have the razzle dazzle yet.
Well, I need to correct myself. Is it pizzazz in The Prom? I don't think it is pizzazz. It's Zaz. I apologize. It's Zaz.
Damn, here I am giving away beautiful moments for later parts of this episide. I'm just giving them away.
How? Oh, you're telling us how to. Well, you don't worry. We have more. But yeah, I enjoy the sequence in it. I love the drunk alien who keeps putting coins into BB-8. But then it plays later when BB-8 shoots people with coins. Like, yes. Shout out to Justin Theroux, who's the massive code breaker. He was in The Leftover.
That was Justin Theroux?
Yeah.
No.
I'm like 98% sure.
I'm pretty sure that was Benicio.
No. Benicio was the one that's in. Remember the one with the rose at the table that they were looking for initially?
No, I'm pretty sure you have it the other way around.
Benicio is the one who goes off onto Kylo's ship with them. Do you not know what Benicio del Toro looks like?
Yeah, he's DJ. He's the one who was in the prison with them.
But the one at the table that they were initially.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you go. We haven't even touched Benicio del Toro yet. There's so much great stuff in this movie. Yeah, I enjoy that setting. I enjoy the Rose's affinity for whatever that animal was.
It was like a Falcion or something.
Something like that. I enjoy the chase through the city. That's a fun departure from what we usually get, and I think it's really beautiful when
I love stampedes. in movies.
Oh yeah, top 5 stampedes in movies. Go.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. All right. 4 more.
2 of them in fuck, what was that? Lion King.
Oh,
There's 2 of them in that one.
okay. 2. Oh, are you gonna say the live action Lion King for 5? Huh?
I'm pretty sure there were orc stampedes in Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna say that for another 2.
One more.
Okay,
Come on,
another
one. Stampedes. Where is there stampedes in movies?
Stampedes.
Maybe the zookeeper. Maybe the zookeeper's wife.
Oh, in Madagascar.
Oh.
When like the lions were coming to chase Marty.
Great choice. I was thinking Jumanji, but no, that's a great call. Where were we? Oh, I love when Finn's like, all right, we destroyed that terrible city. Oh, there's dogs barking. Do you want to take over while the dogs bark? Thank you.
Looks like some dogs over on the Simpsons end are trying to start a stampede. They just got so inspired by what I was saying. They're like, damn, you know what? Stampedes are fun. Let's go for it. Sorry, we're just dying at this stupid joke.
It's not stupid, it's genius.
You muted yourself. Oh. So you know what? We need more stampedes in movies. It's just such a beautiful image.
On the topic of the stampede, I think so much is summed up in the interaction between Finn and Rose after the stampede, when Rose releases whatever one they were writing on, and Finn's like, all right, at least we destroyed the city. It was worth it. And then Rose is like, looks towards the animals they release, like, now it's worth it. Like, yeah, it's not about destroying the other. It's about freeing and bringing what is necessary to what needs to.
Freeing the minds. Free the minds of the people who are indoctrinated by J.J. Abrams in this mythology of following the previous movies to a T.
Hey, Pawan, are you enjoying Lost right there? You've been enjoying Lost, right?
Listen. It really feels like he has barely anything to do with that show.
I don't know how shows work.
Because
Benicio.
Well, okay. So about Lost.
Oh, okay. Damn it! I didn't mean to bring this up. Go on.
Yes, he is one of the 3 main executive producers, but it definitely feels like more of a Damon Lindelof show than a J.J. Abrams show.
How do you quantitate how much someone is involved in a project
how many episodes they write?
Yes, but
J.J. Abrams doesn't write very much.
But that doesn't mean there's a single writer. There's a writer room.
But also, J.J. Abrams was busy making Mission Impossible 3 and a bunch of other shit.
Yo, Pawan, hold up. Important news. I just got an email from Adam Tickets. Buy one, get one free for In the Heights.
Ooh.
So that's Russ. That's Russ.
Yeah, we're gonna talk off the episode about that. I don't know why you brought that up here.
It was the important breaking news, all right?
You know what? Everyone else listening, we're gonna watch In the Heights. Just letting you know, we're going to be watching In the Heights, and we're going to be paying for one ticket, and one of us is getting it for free.
If you're listening to this on Friday, the 11th, the day this should post, check out
this should
Adam
post.
Tickets. It should post. Check out Adam Tickets. They may have the deal still up, and maybe you could also head uptown to In the Heights.
You know, they really timed it well for Anthony Ramos or Ramos.
I believe it's Ramos, but I'm not 100% certain.
They really timed it well. Like, he's getting that boost off of Vin treatment, because that's really a huge show. He's building his rep.
Are you facetiously saying that it's a big show? It is a big show.
Okay.
You're a fan of the show.
I'm a fan of the show. It definitely isn't one of HBO's heavy hitters.
Pawan, there's so few heavy hitters this year that it's in the conversation for Emmys.
I mean, it's
Serious
not
conversation.
Mayor of Easton.
Yeah, but that's a mini series, not a drama series.
Because,
Very
like,
different world.
I will just say, yes, I'm the one giving out the HBO Max logins to people, and they're like, "Yo, I really need that for this show because this show is huge," and I'm just like, "Haha, fuck that show. I'm watching Ballers."
Pawan, I have a very important question because it took me a while to figure this out with another program of similar name. Is it Mayor of Easton or East Town?
Oh, you're talking about like Downton Abbey?
Yes.
I think that one is Downton. Like,
Yes.
there's no W in that one.
Oh, it is. But for years, I was like, why are you saying downtown so dumbly? Was it Mayor of Easton? Mayor of East Town?
I don't know because I have not seen anything from that show. All I know is that it did what Godzilla versus Kong could.
It did what the Snyder Cut couldn't. So just a reminder, release all Kate Winslet films in theaters and they will outperform the Snyder Cut. Benicio del Toro.
Yes.
Wonderful actor. Always incredible, right?
Right. I love him in Sicario.
Yeah,
I mean, he did great work in Sicario, in Hitman, Day of the Soldier.
I don't think I've actually seen too many Benicio films, but whenever I do see him, he's a delight, and he is terrific in this one.
What movies does he have? Let's look at his film.
He has his Oscar. He has the Oscar for Traffic.
He was Swiper the Fox. Now I gotta see Dora.
And Dora,
like, how did I not see that?
Real talk, how have neither of us seen it? Because it's supposed to actually be solid.
Yeah, I don't. I've been meaning to watch The Wolfman. I've been meaning to watch The Wolfman. He is the Wolfman.
He's in The French Dispatch. Of course, Benicio del Toro will be on the podcast again in Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's in Inherent Vice. I didn't realize that.
Anyway, I haven't seen that one either. That's one of the few Paul Thomas Anderson movies I haven't seen.
I gotta dig into my PTA.
Like, how many? Okay, I've seen 2, 3, 4.
I think I've only seen Punch Drunk, Phantom Thread.
I've seen 5 of his. So I guess that's
a lot of his movies.
That's half. 8? That's more than half.
8 or 10?
He has 9.
9.
Though one of them is
one hasn't been released. It's the high school one. He's
Soggy
doing, right?
Bottom.
Oh, I forgot there's an official title now.
Oh, it's from Metro Goldwyn Mayer, so it's gonna be coming from Amazon. Yay!
Hold on. Let me see if I can name all 8 P.T. Anderson movies on the Star Wars podcast.
Sure.
Hard 8.
Yep.
Boogie Nights.
Mm-hmm.
Magnolia.
Yep.
Punch Drunk Love.
Mm-hmm. Damn, you're going in order.
The Master.
You're not going in order.
There Will Be Blood.
Okay.
There Will Be Blood, The Master. And then everyone's favorite, Academy Award nominated Best Picture and Director for Phantom Thread.
Okay. You're missing one.
Oh, Inherent Vice.
Yeah, you literally brought it up.
The one we mentioned. Yeah, I think I've only seen 3 of those. I need to dig into it. Yeah, Benicio is fun in this movie. He's a pretty minor role, but I enjoy the fact that he's what Finn could be. Finn's so fucking selfish in 7 and for the first half of this movie. And so when he realizes that he needs to make a change, he fights. And he's great. He's charming. He has that stutter. I forgot he had his stutter, and I thought for a second it would be like a fake stutter, like, oh, I'm not just stuttering, because that's such a movie thing. But he's very good in it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the district. I can never say this word right. Distributor of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, and the Master was by the Weinstein Company.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Also, just off of that note, I was reading through the producer behind The Wolves off Broadway. You
Oh,
know
you
what
mean the man
names on there?
who did every play on Broadway in the past decade?
Yeah, Scott Rudin.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast or if I even told you, but the day the Hollywood Reporter's report came out, I was like, I'm gonna watch Lady Bird today, and I was like, oh man, even Lady Bird.
I don't know if it was the Hollywood Reporter or another website, but like while they were also posting that, around the exact same time they put up another article about Scott Rudin's illustrious career. Oh, it was the same day they were posting the news about him stepping down from his work on the which
Let's move on. Let's
which
move
play was it
on.
that was coming back to
Music
Broadway that
Man.
yeah, that
Music
one.
Man. Let's move on. Um, I'd like to mention the animals in this movie, the ones that they're that Rose and Finn ride, and later on that bring them to those rocks.
Yo, there's so many great animals in this movie.
They're adorable, but there's this elegance to them that I don't think you get in a lot of the Star Wars creatures, and so they stood out for me specifically. Um, and we haven't even talked about Yoda. I love that Yoda scene
I
with
mean,
Luke.
he has a cameo, so
But I think there's so much to that scene.
again, why did people hate this movie? Like, it literally had all the things. It had the Yoda.
Here's the thing. It explains stuff. And people disagreed with that stuff because
but
they
see,
think they're Poe.
you know what's another funny thing I heard? When someone was talking about why they hated this movie,
What?
they were like, what changed from the beginning to the end of the movie? They're being chased by the First Order, and at the end, they're still being chased by the First Order, and they have a small group.
But the characters,
Like,
it's
what the fuck are you talking about?
You know what I say to that person? They should pull out their phone, find their music service of choice, whether Spotify, Apple. Then they should subscribe to the $1 Billion Movie Club. Then I say search in the search bar MILEYCYRUSTHECLIMB. It's
You
the
know,
climb.
ah,
All right. Doesn't matter how fast I get there or what's waiting on the other side, it's the climb. And this film does a beautiful job of evolving the characters so that they have a reason to fight.
like, yes, people are like, yo, they did that entire thing on Canto Bight to go do a thing that didn't even work. So what was the whole point of that section? What, like, who goes into a movie just like, okay, this military strategy didn't work. Why are they showing us this? It's the same sort of people that are like, why didn't spoilers for when we get to Infinity War?
Oh my God.
When people are like, yo, why did Peter start smacking Purple Man when they were obviously about to kill him? Like, why did he do that? Didn't he think?
No, he didn't. People don't think in the moment. I like they said Peter. I'm like, Spider-Man didn't hit Thanos. I'm like, oh, there's two Peters.
Yeah, that's another thing about the MCU.
We can get into this. We can get into this in Infinity.
Creative with the names of the characters or the names of the actors portraying the characters. All right.
Yeah, it's their fault. It's their fault. How dare you? Anyways, but yeah, I love the scene with Luke and Yoda. I love the Yoda's like, have you read the ancient texts? And Luke's like, I skimmed them. And Yoda has that beautiful line that I think is classic Yoda. Let me see if I have I typed it down here somewhere. It goes something like this if I were to find it in my notes. Fuck notes. There's too many. We are what they grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters. And I think you look at the Luke character is so enraptured in hubris and pride, and when he fails, he decides to give up because he
Right.
isn't the legend he thinks he's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
see, that's the main theme of this movie. Like
It's moving on.
acknowledging the failure of your heroes and like the ones you venerate and like learning from their mistakes, which is something that, it feels like is a good message to take that some people just didn't want to. I wonder
Maybe
why.
we shouldn't just let the old white men in charge stay in charge forever.
But bro, how are we going to have a Skywalker saga if we move on?
Leia's still in the fucking movie, which we haven't even talked about Leia. This film had the unfortunate, and really the sequel trilogy had the unfortunate tragedy of the death of Carrie Fisher, and I'm sure that fucked up the plans of the trilogy. And I don't know. I
No,
think
but
she's
see
one of the greatest.
the thing
One of the
is
greatest personalities we had in Hollywood, and
sure,
it
but
sucks.
like JJ Abrams, like in retrospect, I read something where he was like, you know what, we should have gone into like episode 7 and like that trilogy with a plan. It's like, no, JJ, I don't want your plans. I want you to build off of what came before instead of dismantling.
Okay, I got lost in what you were referring to, but
Like he, and after like, so there was an interview or something with
a-
him this year or last
episode.
year where he was,
Okay.
when they were talking about like how the sequel trilogy like came out and like the overall story of it, and he was like, you know what, it would have been better if we went into that with a plan of what we wanted to do with that story. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't think you needed that, JJ. I think you just needed to accept the things that came before when you ended a series.
We'll get to it when we get to episode 9. We'll get to
Yeah.
it when we get to episode 9. But Carrie was always Leia's my favorite character of the original trilogy, and it's a shame she doesn't have the most screen time in episode 7 and 8. And it felt like episode 9 was gonna be a Leia movie, in the way that 7 is a Han movie, 8's a Luke movie, and it's a disservice to the character, but also like that was the hand they were given.
You know what's my favorite character from the original trilogy?
Who?
Those pixels that make Han Solo's head move like 7 degrees when it's like the shot happens. So
what about the noise that that the alien now makes? You know of this?
oh, no. Sorry. My favorite character in the
Original?
original movies is the one that was in that redone cantina scene where you get a close up of their face going like, what happened?
Some really bad stuff in that. But
Like,
on the
honestly, that creature might as well have been singing "Never Had a Friend Like Me." The way it was going, what happened?
that'd make it so much better. Save that. I don't know why. I guess we're doing Aladdin later. Save it. But yeah, I love Carrie's moment when you think Leia's dead, and then she force flies. Like Leia doesn't have a cool moment of the Force, and that was her moment. And I think this film plays with Force sensitivity in a way that the original trilogy couldn't, because you didn't know of the Vader relationship until the final film. And so you have these beautiful moments of her taking in what's happening to Luke or even Kylo or Rey. And that connective tissue between Leia and Rey, I always enjoy very much.
The Force, it binds us all together.
It does. It does.
There was a period of time where in Australia, Jedi was one of the like, it had
Popular
to be one
religions.
of the, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? I feel like there's more I want to say, but this has been a longer episode, I think. Is there anything else you feel the need to tackle? I think we very much enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. I think it's still probably one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Yeah. I love the scene of Rey going in that hole and then her coming up toward like this weird crystal light, and it's all like what's the word,
Refractions.
refractions, but then then it suddenly turns clear, but then there's all those different rays, and it's like this weird mysterious thing that
Uh,
simultaneously feels claustrophobic but also never ending, and she approaches the mirror, and then it's herself. Also, I want to point out this film challenges the idea of hope in a way that I don't think the other films do. Not uh, straightforward, but Ray has hope that her parents will come back and are more than just these people who gave her up, and that turned into denial and lack of self acceptance, and that weighs on her. You get Poe. Poe is so assured that there's no way that Finn and Rose will fail, that he's committed to his plan. But no, it was very possible that they failed, and they did, and he would have been fucked up if it wasn't for Ray or Holdo. Um, and so I think for a franchise so reliant on make sure you have hope, hope will save the day. Rogue One ends with a line about hope. You see how hope can also hurt, and I think that's a very important.
well, see, it's a fine. I feel like this movie tackles the idea of hope being mistaken for like false security.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That probably summed up what I said in 5 seconds. Thank you for that. Oh, I like. I don't like it, but it's kind of funny how violently Finn and Rose were arrested. Like, of course, they're gonna tase the people of color for a parking infraction.
Yeah, and in the middle of a city like that, of course.
Of course, of course. And yeah, I love the kids at the end. I love that we cut back to them and they're telling the story of Luke fighting Kylo, and kind of the fact that yeah, these are legends, but that they themselves aren't what's going to save us in the future. It's they're going to inspire other people to make choices to rise up in the
Again,
end.
it feels like this movie is setting up that next generation idea being what carries us forward, but instead of keeping it so tightly knit with this one family dynasty expanding outward,
Yeah.
which would be a great idea to build off of and gives you so many opportunities. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's be hopeful. We must have hope. Is that what Leia says at the end of Rogue One? We must have hope. Or there's one thing that will save us: hope. Something like that. But one, I think that about wraps up that discussion on Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It's a movie, quite the movie. We enjoyed it very much. But would it surprise you that many people on the interwebs do not think this movie is perfect? Would it surprise you?
Color my face as you see it right now, the color of surprise, because I am astonished.
Whoa,
amazed.
magenta? Your face is magenta the color of surprise?
You know, that's a great question. What is the color of surprise?
I don't know.
I'm thinking like a hot pink.
Can you Google it? Because I'm going to tell a story that happened as you started that idiom. Can we say it? Call it an idiom?
Okay, yeah.
He said, color my face. And my mind thought, oh, what color are they going to say? For some reason, I thought red because maybe embarrassment. But then I'm like, color my face red. That feels offensive. There's no way they're going to say that. And then you said surprised. And I'm like, that's not color.
Wait, what?
I went, well, what's the color of surprise?
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to share my screen right now.
Can you share your screen? I don't know if you have the...
Let me share my screen.
All right. Hold on. I think...
I'm going to close all these other tabs because you don't need to see what I'm looking at.
Does it have to do with the tension between Rey and Kylo?
So not only do we have surprise, we have the whole color spectrum S.
Wow. Wait, where is surprise?
Surprise is right there.
Oh, it's like a teal.
Yeah, it's like an
aquamarine.
It's like a lightish blue.
a baby blue, maybe a sky blue.
I find it interesting that fear is a green. Like
Huh.
it's kind of like a leaf green.
I don't know. I hold on. I was gonna say I watched Inside Out. Fear is purple. You know what's purple? Disgust. Disgust was green in Inside Out.
Yeah, I don't know how much we could trust this emotional color wheel.
Who's Lindley? Why is this Lindley's blog? Be gone with Lindley. Be gone with Lindley. We must move on with the podcast, for it is time to improve this movie.
Right.
Pawan, there are ways to improve movies, and I'm gonna start us off.
Okay.
Because I'm a big fan of this movie. And so I'm going to take a cue from one of my favorite studios working today, Pixar.
Mhm.
Pixar, if you're a big Pixar fan, you know Pixar likes to drop Easter eggs to prepare you for the next film. You know,
If you're a big fan of Pixar, you know they make movies
they make
almost like yearly.
yeah, Nemo can be seen in Monsters Inc. The shadow of Doug, the dog from Up, can be seen in Ratatouille.
Yo, my favorite Easter egg of Pixar's is when Nemo is seen in Finding Dory.
Wow, that's what we call a reverse Easter egg. And so I would like to reply this to Star Wars: The Last
Reply.
Jedi. Did I say reply instead of apply?
You said reply.
Wow. Hold on. Is it Holdor? I'd like to apply this to this film. So we need some Easter eggs to Rian Johnson's Academy Award nominated film. Oh, I'd like to mention
his future film.
Yeah,
you need Easter eggs of his future film in this one.
That's what Pixar does.
Yo, I love that Tow Mater cameo in Cars. It was really setting up when he'd be the main character in Cars 2.
Finn McMissile is on a poster in Toy Story 3. The Brave characters appear as like a little tarp as car versions of themselves in Cars 2. So that's what Pixar does. Side note, I like to mention Last Jedi, 4 Oscar nominations. Original score, sound editing, sound mixing, and visual effects. So
yo, my favorite cameo, or like what was the word we were using?
Easter egg?
Easter egg, yeah. My favorite Easter egg for Onward is Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, he's in the title logo. He's just hidden behind the O.
No, it's because he also has one eye. Like the lesbian Cyclops cop. You don't remember that? How
I remember the character. I don't know
Disney
how that's
Pixar's first LGBT character, like the 7th first.
I remember the character. I don't remember the thing. And also, I believe there are same-sex couples in the background of a Toy Story. So how dare you? Anyways, Easter eggs for Knives Out in Last Jedi. So first off, Rey's.
So we got to see a sweater.
Go on. May I please? If you want to workshop this after I toss my ideas, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Rey is doing that weird million Rey things, right? And they're in a straight line. Slowly, the line curves, thus creating a circle. And there's another circle of Reys inside of that circle. Maybe a donut hole of Reys within the donut that is Rey. Right? First.
Wait. Much like how we all have a missing piece of ourselves. So like she's a donut, but like the hole, that's what actually makes her her.
Whole. Why do you say that's what makes her whole? Anyway,
with a WH.
Second Easter egg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luke's fighting Kylo in a scene, like 30-minute sequence we didn't even talk about. Luke is fighting Kylo on the planet. Kylo pulls out his lightsaber, and Luke goes, "Oh, you think this is gonna be a laser sword fight?" Luke then throws his lightsaber away. Instead, he takes out a knife. He says, "This is gonna be a street battle." And Kyle says, okay, this isn't going to be a street battle. Tosses his lightsaber away, turns around, goes up to Hux, takes 2 knives. Kylo now has 2 knives. And because he's a force projection, Luke also has 2 knives. And they have a street battle a la Furious 7.
But the knives are out.
The knives are out. The knives are out. Final Easter egg.
Wait. Before we get into the final Easter egg,
Yeah.
what's the thing about a street battle is the street always wins moment in this one? Because like we know there was that insert shot where they explain that it's not snow, it's salt. So obviously that has to factor in somehow.
No. So what happens is the fight ends and they're like, okay, we gotta stop fighting. And they throw their knives on the ground and they go to shake hands. And as they shake hands, you hear Kyle go, oh. And kind of like an Assassin's Creed blade, a knife pops out of Luke's wrist, thus stabbing Kylo. And Luke goes, the thing about knives is that the knives are always out. And I was like, what does that mean, Rian? What does that mean? And then Knives Out comes out. We're like, oh, it makes sense. Final Easter egg for Knives Out. There's that wonderful scene in Knives Out when Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc is waiting in the car for Martha. He's singing a song. I can't remember what the song is, but I'm pretty sure it's from Follies. It is. I do know it is a Stephen Sondheim song. And so that's the final Easter egg. As a broom boy looks up to the skies, the song Children Will Listen from Into the Woods begins. Careful of things you say, children will listen. Thus ending the film. 3 Easter eggs for Knives Out.
It's pretty solid.
Thank you.
Pretty solid.
Is there any way that you would improve The Last Jedi?
So we know that this is a Disney movie. Disney owns Star Wars. You know what's missing from this series? Musical numbers.
Wow.
So one thing I do is there's that moment where they're in the stables with the animals and they like open the cage and the dude and the kid's about to rat him out.
Yeah.
So what I would do is in that one Finn just like tells him, please don't, we're part of the resistance. That's not enough. We need a song for that. We need a song for that moment where he goes into, for an example of what might fit in that moment is something along the lines of the Monsters Inc. song, please take that kid back where
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me, I wanna die.
Yeah, that.
So you're saying it's an original song, not a pre-existing song.
Okay, so they could do that, or Finn can start singing Tomorrow from Annie. And like encourage the kids to like, you know what, we're going to break the system, maybe not now but tomorrow.
Well, Pawn, you know, if the hope is like the sun, and if you always look to it for the answers, you won't make it through the night. Was that the line?
Yeah, something like that.
Cool.
So that's one fix. You know what? At some point later on in the movie, Kylo Ren's got to call General Hux General Hugs. Like that's just got to happen at least once.
He has to undermine him.
Yeah. I want to. So we saw this. So we saw Luke milking that animal.
Yes.
We don't see how the animal felt about that moment.
Is there not a close up on the animal's face after it happens?
No, but I want to see it during.
Okay. Okay, go on.
There's multiple routes you could go with that. You could have a face of anger, frustration that they're being milked, or maybe a face of pleasure. They enjoy the sensation.
May we workshop this in the moment? I brought up earlier the scene when Rose's sister is kind of about to die, and there's this depth to it as the bombs land on the First Order ship. Can it be a similar scene? Where rather than the close up on the sister, it's a close up of the back of Luke's head as he milks the animal, and then you get the depth of going up. It's a downward shot. You look upward
like,
toward
boom.
the animal. All right.
Yeah.
It's this imposing figure, and then you see the face. I'm not going to say what the face is. I think we let the actor decide that in the moment.
The actor, the CGI actor.
CGI or animatronic, I don't know what it is, but we let the actor decide in the moment.
No, they got an actual animal for that. An actual member of whatever species it was. They got an actual.
Wow. You had to work hard with the unions to make it work, but it worked. So what else? Is there anything else you did?
Okay. So they established that island is like the source of the force and all that.
Yes.
And like, so what are one of the main inhabitants of the island?
The people.
Porgs.
Yes.
What we gotta connect the Porgs to the lore, because the Porgs are just there on the island. What matters? What's the point of the Porgs being in this movie if they're not part of the lore? Everyone knows Star Wars is about lore, so we need the Porgs. So maybe all right. You ready for this?
Yes.
So Porgs, when they lay eggs, it's two options. It's either another Porg or a Kyber crystal.
Kyber crystal from like the prequels?
Well, they're also in the lightsaber that was shown at the end in this one.
Oh, I didn't put that together. Okay.
Because lore is important in a sense, and everything matters. It's not just from the prequels. It's in this movie too.
I forgot. I apologize.
So yeah, they either birth other Porgs or Kyber crystals. And that's how they're connected with the Force.
Cool. Wow. I think we made this movie better.
Yeah.
But you know what's amazing, Pawan?
Yep.
Every word we just said is wrong. That's a quote from the movie.
Yeah.
We gave our opinions. But what is art if it's opinions? That's not art.
Opinions.
Well, what is art?
Patooey. No one needs those.
What is art, Pawan?
Art is objective. Honestly, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't skip straight to this section, you're doing it wrong. All right?
Yeah. If you don't skip the maybe hour 30, hour 45 discussion where I realize I have other stuff I wanted to bring up, but I'm like, nah, we'll move on. But skip it for this part.
Because everyone knows this is all that matters.
Pawan, this may be science fiction, but this ranking is
science fact.
All right, let's rank Star Wars: The Last Jedi on the
Episode 8.
Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, or is it Star Wars: The Last Jedi Episode 8?
Well, I mean, the way it's written on the thing behind you, if you go from top to bottom, it's Star Wars: The Last Jedi Episode 8. But I don't think that's how it works, because like there's those two lines that completes one thought and then the thing in between.
Let's rank this feature film on the list of the $1 Billion Movie Club's ranking. Pawan,
heads.
We're flipping the coin, and you're saying heads, and the coin shall land on heads.
Okay, here we go. Oh,
last week's film
was
Despicable Me 3.
Number 39.
Number 39. Pawan, did you like this movie better or worse than Despicable Me 3?
You know, there's not even a chance that Blurb was in this movie, but it doesn't matter. I think this is better.
Better.
Even without Blurb being in this universe, it's better.
Do you like this better or worse than Captain America: Civil War?
Better.
Better. Did you like this better or worse than The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey?
You know, the thing about that movie is it really hit me in the nostalgia, but it was a hollow nostalgia.
Wow.
Better.
Whoa. We're hitting top 22. Did you like this movie better or worse than
Better than Jurassic World.
That's not the question.
Oh,
Better or worse than Andrew Stanton's Finding Dory, Jordan Peele's Us, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, or Ron Howard's Dr. Seuss' How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
or any of those movies. Of those, I'll pick Finding Dory, and I'll say it's better than that one.
Did you like this movie better or worse than Star Wars The Force Awakens?
Better.
Better or worse than Zootopia? We're going high with this. Better or worse than Zootopia?
You know what? There were enough furry creatures in this one, so I'm gonna say better. I'm gonna say better.
Wow. Better or worse than Rogue One, a Star Wars story?
Better than Rogue One.
My goodness. I wasn't sure if we were doing it, but we are. We're getting another entry into the top 5 of this week. All right. We're looking at either number 4 or 5. And my computer decided to be weird at this moment. So let's see if I can do this. Min 4, max 5. And the answer is number 5.
5. We got the 5th best movie.
Wars. Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
is it-
actually, it's a
whatever.
VIII.
All right. Well, I'll fix that later when my computer's not being a piece of shit. So, wow. All right. Let's recap the list.
I'm surprised at how many Star Wars are so up high.
Right?
You really like Star Wars because you picked both those.
Pawan, depends on the Star Wars. Depends on the Star Wars. Let's recap the list.
Go ahead.
At number 47, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
46, Alice in Wonderland.
45, Toy Story 3.
44, Avatar.
41, Transformers Dark of the Moon.
40, Avengers, Age of Ultron.
Was that Josh Brolin?
No, that was James Spader.
That's a better, I see that now. 39, Despicable Me 3.
38, Transformers, Age of Extinction.
37, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
35, Captain America, Civil War.
34, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Fuck you. 33, The Dark Knight Rises.
32, The Dark Knight.
31, Marvel's The Avengers.
30, Minions.
28.
Minions is only number 30?
Yeah, I know. 28, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey.
27, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
26, Jurassic Park.
25, Iron Man 3.
24, Frozen.
22, Jurassic World.
21, tied for 21. Who directed that first one?
Andrew Stanton.
Stanton's Finding Dory, Peele's Us, Raimi's Spider-Man 3, Howard's Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Number 20, Beauty and the Beast.
There's a number there next to that.
2017. Preface 2017.
19, Titanic.
13, Star Wars The Force Awakens.
11, Zootopia. IA.
There you go. Thank you. 7, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story.
6, Fate.
There's more to the title.
8, The Fate of the Furious.
Number 5, this week's entry, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Number 3, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Absolute
Number-
fucking banger.
Number 2, Furious 7, another absolute fucking banger.
1, Skyfall.
I'm looking at this
Boomer
list.
technology.
I don't know if Episode 8 is part of the title of Star Wars, because why would Star Wars The Force Awakens not be Star Wars Episode 7? The Force Awakens?
Go all the way down to Star Wars Phantom Menace, please.
You know when I said my computer's being a piece of shit right now? Here we go. Oh.
That was
Who
the
knows?
first one that was entered.
Who knows? Who knows?
That was entered
Interesting.
before Star Wars The Force Awakens.
I think Force Awakens is styled differently, though.
Hmm.
It's interesting to note we have 2 Star Wars and 2 Fast and Furiouses on the top 10. I was not
mean,
expecting this.
I wasn't expecting Rogue One to be so high, but I get
I wasn't
the
either.
other two.
I wasn't either.
The other franchise.
Well, that was a wild episode.
See, the thing is, we know $1 billion movies. It's all about franchises, baby. Because like the first one is an unknown entity, no one's gonna see that. But the second one, people know what's up. They're gonna come out. They're gonna show up.
Pawan, Avatar.
They're gonna show up. They're gonna show up for 2. It's
The
gonna
first
be
one
even
was an
better.
unknown entity. The first one was an unknown entity.
No, it wasn't. It was James Cameron.
Oh, James Cameron is an entity now?
In the context of this, yes.
I see. Well, thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the $1 Billion Movie Club. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTubes.
And rate
Subscribe
5 stars.
on Spotify's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc.
And on
send us
YouTube.
send us an email. Paul, what is that email?
$1 Billion Movie Club at google.com.
Yes.
Gmail.com.
I didn't realize we were at this movie already. Next week's picture, Black Panther.
Yay.
We got there fast. Entering 2018. I'm intrigued by your reaction to that, but we'll get to it.
I don't know. I'm a little scared to talk about that one.
We'll get to it next week. But Pawan, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Masinta,
audience,
thank
for joining
you for joining us, Jordan Peele's, to be frank.
Oh, the prequel to Disney Plus's Us Again?
Yeah.
Wow.
And remember,
with that. Oh,
we got a shout out to Max Lismacchio.
Wow, I almost forgot.
Beautiful artwork. Mwah, A+, A+.
I hope this isn't getting facetious the way we say it every week.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It feels a little jokingly when we bring it up.
All love to the entity known as Max Lismacchio.
Oh, an entity just like James Cameron.
Yeah.
And with that, pew. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the $1 Billion Movie Club. Each and every week, we look at movies that made a whole lot of money. Perhaps they made over $1 billion. And we go, how did that happen? Was it possibly a giant topic of debate for like 8 years after the release of the film for no real good reason? Perhaps. I am Christian Simpson, and with me, as always, is
Pawan Mehta.
Pawan, how
as
you
we've
doing today?
established, you've went to acting school. I went to normal school.
Did we establish this? When was this established?
You said like you went to acting school and you're distinguished in your ability to do things.
When did I say that? This episode just began right now. We didn't have like half hour of nothing before it.
All right, let's restart.
Okay, cool. We'll restart. Wow.